going on, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for June 30th, 2023. I'm astrologer Alex Skiles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Thank you so much for being here. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Happy Friday. There's a lot of Neptune activity going on. Neptune's slowing down. Reality's coming into focus. So when Neptune is in its home sign of Pisces, that spiritual vibration can be so high. And we can be so far out. We can lose touch with reality, And when Neptune goes retrograde, I think it can be a really good thing to kind of come back down to earth, reassess reality, and kind of see things for what they are. The kind of hazy, blurry vision can really peel itself off. And today, that's starting to happen. And as we're waking up, we got this wonderful trine from the moon to Neptune. Neptune is the higher octave of the moon. So when they come together and they make great aspects, they trine, they conjunct, our creativity and that spiritual psychic vibration is just really potent. And this is happening in the morning as we're sleeping, really anywhere in America. So I feel like waking up, our dreams can seem to overlap into the daytime, which when that happens, if you're born with any 12th house placements, especially Mercury in the 12th house, you really feel this anyway. So our dreams are kind of overlapping into our daily life today. And what that really kind of brings up is synchronicities. And some people call it their intuition or God or, their inner voice or whatever. Those synchronicities can really be powerful today. And when the moon is trining Neptune, sextiling Pluto's pretty much sextiling Neptune as well. Pluto dispositing the moon, those synchronicities are pretty much the direction we need to be headed in. And we're all going to be feeling that today. Neptune, with it slowing down, I feel like a lot of fears subconsciously can pop up, and we can really address them honestly. In a much more honest way, especially by this evening when the moon comes into Sag and kind of triggers that, and truth is going to be triggering a lot of this Neptunian energy later on tonight and tomorrow. But yeah, I feel, especially with this moon sextiling Pluto as well, this is that kind of energy when things that were dying, you thought were dying or were lost or didn't serve a purpose anymore, seems to have some kind of renewal in a sense. Relationships, especially with Scorpio, we're talking about relationships, relationships that just the energy just kind of dissolved or just wasn't, living up to standards. This is a renewal of that kind of energy and a rebirthing. We can really find a new pathway when it comes to relationships today, especially creative ones when we have all this Neptune energy involved. So with all this Neptune energy being so much at the forefront now today and throughout the weekend, because Saturn's a Pisces too, so there's so much Pisces energy going on. Pluto is the root. It's the ground. On an electrical plug, you got two plugs and then you got the ground. Without those two plugs to plug in the energy, to send the energy wherever it's going to go, the ground keeps it in place. So it can really direct itself and go to the places it needs to go, right? Because when Neptune doesn't have a ground, it can be so far out and it can get lost. We can feel lost. We can feel I'm never coming back. You lose your mind. It's man, am I ever gonna come come back to the person that I know I am, like when we kind of detach from our ego, like that's Neptune 12th house Pisces energy is, fully detaching from our ego. And, definitely like when that spiritual energy is super high, like that's really what a spiritual experience is like, right? Is when we do kind of detach from our ego and we're looking at ourselves instead of being ourselves. So with this really high vibrational creative spiritual energy between the moon and Neptune, and with Pluto there, it's rooting it and it's allowing it to really like channel in a very directional way. Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn, I mean, that's a cardinal sign. It's like it knows where to go, and where Capricorn wants to go is it wants to build, it wants to have a solid foundation, and it wants to get to the top. And really it's like whatever we want to build and like the path we want to take to get to the top, like we're really able to access that through our visions that, really seem to be fantasies. And I think today, like some fantasies can kind of come into reality, which is super fucking cool. Like, Saturn's only getting closer to Neptune day by day. I mean, we got 2 years of this, and it can seem like reality is dissolving, but at the same time, it's really given us the opportunity to make these fantasies and dreams a reality. If you think about, this is some super dope stuff about Saturn and Pisces. 1967. Think about 1967. It's the hippie revolution, right? Like the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper came out. Like people were altering their consciousness, and the most beautiful art came from that time, right? Especially the art that really affected our culture now in the deepest way. Like we still hold on to that time, and especially with Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, like we're really going to the past a lot more, and things that we're holding on to in the past, like really coming up with Saturn and Pisces. But like, this is like the moment where we should be like really like channeling our highest visions on a creative level, because these are the moments that those become real. 1967 was Saturn and Pisces, 1994 through 96, Saturn and Pisces. Some of the best art, some of the best music, some of the best movies, Neptune rules movies and television and screens and all that stuff. Like, those are some of my favorite artistic moments that happened, at least in the times of current times, modern times. So these visions are really coming into place. And today, these visions, like, we're acting upon them, and the synchronicities that are kind of guiding us towards that. And, that intuition that sometimes we second guess, today, like, is no time to be second guessing that intuition and those synchronicities that pop up, because, they are rooted in the direction we're trying to go and what we want to build. It's the last time Pluto's in Capricorn. That's kind of, letting go of the foundations and the structures that aren't going to really exist in the future. So whatever we're creating now and the foundation we're laying now and the vision and the direction that we're aiming for will come into the forefront as Saturn gets closer to Neptune. So, yeah. By this evening, Neptune's going to retrograde. Let's just move it forward just a little bit and we'll watch it happen. Here's Neptune right here. Get into the evening here. And on the West Coast, around 2:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30, Neptune's going to officially be stopped. So this is deja vu. This is a deja vu moment. Like, I've been here before. I've seen this before. Like, that feeling that's like, whoa, like, reality's overlapping. Neptune energy can be very, like, psychedelic. It's the psychedelic energy. It's like, you know, you fall into a black hole and all of a sudden you're in another dimension. Like, that is, Neptune retrograde completely stopped, and now we can see where we've had subconscious blocks. With that vibration slowing down, that, we're coming back to reality. We can see where we've been blocking ourselves subconsciously. We could see where we get trapped in that victim state, or we're just holding on to things from the past. And with Neptune too, especially with Saturn, like, this brings up addictions, and the things that, like, we're binded to. It's like Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces. It's like the devil card. It's like, like, I'm just latched onto this and I can't let it go, even though I shouldn't have it. It's like, I'll just have one more. And when Neptune goes retrograde, it's like we can't help but now see it very clearly that, damn, like, I have to let go of this. Like, this is not serving me. Like, this is an old loop. When with Neptune and Pisces and the 12th house, it's like a tape playing itself over and over and over. It can get insane. And today it's like we're hitting stop on the tape player, right? And we can kind of be like, all right, like, I know what I need to do. I got to let this go. And it's how we're going to channel, like, that physically. Mercury and the sun, both at 8 degrees. So, like, we're able to really, like, think things through very clearly and diplomatically and talk about things. It's still trining Saturn. I mean, they're a degree up, but, like, they're still in lovely communication here. And I think, like, this is, with Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, like, mental health stuff comes up a lot. And no matter what end of it you're on, if you know somebody who's going through a lot, or you're going through a lot, like, with all this Cancer bundled up here, like, you got to you can't hold it inside. With Pisces stuff, 12th house issues, like, we just want to hold things in. And kind of the dark side of Pisces is holding things in and withholding information to not rub that off onto other people. And that's kind of like the compassion of Pisces, right? Is like, even if inside, like, I'm not feeling okay, like, I'm still going to put a smile on and act like I'm happy, because I don't want to express a negative emotion to, make somebody else feel unhappy or bring my baggage onto somebody else, and that's what, like, as compassionate and loving as Pisces can be, like, this is where we can go crazy, is when we're not actually talking about the things we need to discuss that are weighing on us. And with Saturn and Pisces, like, these emotions can get pretty fucking heavy. And we're having a lot of support from this Mercury and Sun and Cancer trining Saturn. I mean, if you got people in your family that you feel really comfortable, like, that you can share things with, like, this is the way out, And today we can see it very clearly. Like, Neptune has stopped. The mirage is kind of dissolving. Like, if you're in the fucking desert and you're looking off into the distance and you haven't had water for days and you're just trucking through the desert and you're just seeing things, and it could just get very, like, it's like a movie, whenever they portray being lost in the desert. It's like a big blob, It's like if that big blob like was a curtain and it just fell and it was like a just a brick wall, essentially. It's like, oh shit, like that's not even real. It's not even real. It wasn't even real to begin with. Like these thoughts that can come up, um, with all this Neptune energy, like we could drive ourselves mad, like just create scenarios in our mind that aren't true, and like we want to get feedback from the people that we care about. We want that reassurance. We need that reassurance. So, and on top of that, like the moon's in Sag now, it's left Scorpio, so we're never gonna see the moon in Scorpio crossing the south node in Scorpio with Pluto and Capricorn. This is a big fucking deal. Like, this is not just generational issues and generational trauma, like clearing. Like, this is like real deep unconscious stuff. Now, just like, you know what? Like, I can move forward, I can move on, and it's giving us the opportunity to do so. And especially, like, what are the odds with Neptune, like, slowing down, giving us the opportunity to kind of see things for what they are? So this is pretty, like, significant moment here of just facing a truth, facing your truth. It's that truth is different for everybody. So later this evening, the moon is gonna square Saturn. This can really bring up like some like places where we have to evolve and mature emotionally. And this goes back to all the things we've been talking about, like that's gonna come up with all this Neptune energy. Like today, like there is a harsh truth that is being expressed emotionally, and some people, depending on who you are and where you're at, like, people are gonna be on different ends of that, When Pisces and Sag square each other, it's a battle between what is truth and what your feelings are. And so Sag doesn't really care about what your feelings. It just wants to say what is right. It wants to be completely honest. And Pisces is like, no, like, please just stop. Like, I don't want to hear it. I just want to be comfortable right here, and I just want to lay in my blanket and not deal with it right now. I'll deal with it tomorrow. And the moon is Sag squaring Saturn. It's like, no, we have to deal with this now. So either way, with Neptune it's completely stopped while the moon is Sag squaring Saturn and Pisces, like, we're going to have no choice but to face these truths today, As much as in the morning, like the creativity and the vibration is super high and it is actually rooted with Pluto. Like, in order to really channel that creativity, like we have to face the truth about things that have been blocking us on a subconscious level, whether it's, the woe is me, like, oh, like, why does this have to happen to me? It's like, well, the truth is that, if it can happen to you, it can happen to anyone. And we all feel these feelings and, we feel these emotions. Like, that's the truth that Sag speaks. It's like, it's not just you, it's all of us. Sagittarius is the teacher of the zodiac, right? And in order to really teach, like, you have to be willing to express that in ways that, like, are going to challenge people that aren't always the most comfortable for everybody. And I honestly, like, out of any signs that square each other in the zodiac, like when Sag and Pisces square, like, I really love it because it gives us the awareness to get to that magical spiritual place. Because Sag and Pisces, they're the two magical spiritual signs of the zodiac, the 9th house and the 12th house. And with Pisces, you know, it wants to get to that magical place, and it wants to get to that higher vibration. You know, it wants to get outside of Earth. It wants to get outside of the atmosphere and see what's beyond, where there is no gravity, you know. But in order to really get there, like, you have to see the truth of things and face the truth. And with Neptune retrograding, I feel like it's a really good thing, you know, like it's necessary. Neptune retrogrades for 160 days out of the year. That's almost a half a year. Not quite a whole half a year, but I mean, we need that time to just come back down and ground ourselves and like assess what is real. Because imagine if we were just on an LSD trip 24/7 for the rest of our lives. Like, that's what you call schizophrenia. You know, Neptune and rules schizophrenia, you know. And we need this moment to kind of, you know, chill the fuck out. So, and by tomorrow, we'll talk about it more tomorrow. I'll do the weekend horoscope, but the moon and Sag are gonna square Neptune. So we're really facing, you know, a lot of truths this weekend, and not being afraid to face these truths. And when the moon squares Saturn, like, we level up, like we level up on a level of emotional maturity. This is when we really like kind of like, you know, button up our pants and, you know, and face the music, so to say. You know, and say, you know what, like, I have to do this. Like, I have to just take it for what it is. Because when you finally accept that, you know, Pisces is accepting things. Like, I have to accept this. Like we have to accept the truth of what the reality truly is, you know, because we don't want to dissolve into nothingness and just kind of forget where we came from, in a sense, you know. So it's a really magical energy. Like before Neptune was discovered in the 1800s, right? It's a funny thing about it is Neptune rules altered states, you know, whether it's a spiritual altered state or an altered state by drugs or alcohol. Neptune rules alcohol. Supposedly, the guy who discovered Neptune owned a brewery and was a complete drunk. And he found Neptune through a telescope, supposedly while completely out of his mind. That is as Neptune as it gets, right? That's funny how the astrology always correlates to our reality. And that's the whole point of why we like to gander at this stuff. So Friday's going to be pretty fucking phenomenal. The synchronicities are just really going to come into play. We have to really trust those things. And I think those synchronicities are carrying us to a more truthful, honest place that is allowing us a greater emotional maturity to kind of be, you know, grown-ups in a sense. Yeah, there's a big level up. So, let's see what we got in the cards. What do we got? We got the Fool upright. So, this is a new journey. And I think this is a new journey into a new reality. Because with Neptune and this very high vibrational energy, like, there's multiple realities overlapping here. And we're stepping into a whole new phase of just being honest with ourselves and kind of letting go, not holding on to the past with the Saturn and Pisces, like, you know, the moon squaring Saturn, like we just like in order to take that new journey, like we have to face the truth. So, and the Fool, like it really doesn't know where it's going. It has no idea where it's going, and it doesn't really care. And that's the beauty of Sagittarius, and that's the beauty of Pisces. They're both co-ruled by Jupiter before Neptune was discovered, and it doesn't care where it's going. It's not a cardinal sign. It's like when we're talking about Aries and Capricorn and Libra and Cancer, it's like it knows exactly where it's going, and that's the only direction that they're headed. We're talking with Sagittarius and Pisces, like it doesn't really care where it goes. Sometimes with Sag, like you just want to shoot your arrow and see where it lands, and if it hits the target, it hits the target. Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, it's a new journey, and we can't really care about where it's going to take us. It's always going to take us to the place we need to be. And that is the Neptunian vibration, right? Is just trusting the divine. And that it's always going to work out. It's always going to take us to the place that we know our higher power or God or whatever you want to call it, like that is taking us towards. So today we're trusting that fully. And yeah, I hope you all have a great Friday. Enjoy, the physical world coming into focus more with Neptune stopping. This is going to get really interesting, So, yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow.